So basically, the factors to consider when you're taking your business abroad, i.e., creating a new entity abroad, or establishing a branch of your company, or selling a franchise or agency to have a partner somewhere else. There are things to consider. It's not a straightforward issue, and so many people fall into the trap of basically either ending on the wrong side of the law because they don't know, or they get scammed. So they come back from this adventure empty-handed, and that will affect their life, obviously, and they build a present business in the UK. So the objective of this seminar is to actually address the pros and cons of going global and highlight the main factors that a business needs to consider when expanding abroad. So the first thing we need to know, and this is a very strong issue that I actually basically consider, is the corporate governance structure of that country. There are different governance structures for each business in the country. So, for example, if you are opening a limited company or a group, the structure of the need for the executive chairman, the managing directors, roles and responsibilities, the level of structure is different. It's a long issue, a long basically subject. However, this has to be considered. So, for example, if you go to Germany and open a company in Germany, or you are a director in German company, then you will need to have different roles and different responsibilities from the managing director in the UK. So we have, for example, Australia shares Germany's structure, but we don't. We have Hong Kong, China, we have this. So everywhere you go, you have to first of all basically check this corporation structure. And then the currency. The currency is in all ways basically the comparative to your local currency, which is the UK currency. How are you going to compete in the market if the market is, the currency is viable, is it up and down, but there is a high inflation in the country. So all that has to be considered before you actually set your step into business. The money laundering awareness as well. There's all businesses who operate abroad, whether they import, export, or they sell services abroad, they get scammed by money launderers because they know where. They think, okay, I paid by PayPal, I received my money by bank transfer, but they have to know where the source of money is because there's a law against that. So you have to, maybe you are an innocent businessman who's trying to globalize your business, trying to expand, and then you get basically set back by these issues if you are not aware. And many people think it's a straightforward, but it's not. The customer expansion and competition, when you set up in any market abroad, you have to see if there's a competition there. You have to study the market and see the viability of your product or services in that country. And then you will be able to actually evaluate your situation and set up your strategy. So the steps that we taking into, if I am thinking of going global today, the first thing I want to think about is where. I want to know where am I going, where is my product or service viable and acceptable, or wanted and needed, basically, because nobody wants to open somewhere where nobody buys from them. I was hoping that this theatre is full today, but they gave me theatre 10, I had no choice. The understanding of the export law as well, you have to understand the articles, the laws, the taxation in that country, if it's a free duty or not. For example, if you are, I was speaking to somebody earlier, he's a furniture export, and he's having problems trading with some countries because of the price. He said, I'm having problem because of the price, because the taxation on that country is very high. how do I deal with it? Then he has to look at his prices and maybe share the cost with the customer if it's viable for him. If it's feasible, then he could do it. And so many laws of export is a very, very wide subject, so I'm not going to go into it, but I just wanted to highlight basically the factors and the parameters of the things that you should think about if you are trying to trade abroad or relocate. I just want to know, because so many people, they basically, what is corporate governance? There is the company law, the company structure. So it's the system that the rules, the practices and processes that the company go through, especially if it's a company registered, if it's a limited company or a group or a PLC. Well, sometimes the small limited company, small business does fall under this as well, because the law doesn't know it's the rules applied because it's limited. If you register a limited company, then you have to be over and below of the limited company. The first thing after we have established what we want to do and where, we have to find the right partner there. So many countries, they do not allow you to open a business 100% in your name unless you have a local partner. Many of you maybe who tried, they know that. So if I want to go as a British citizen, if I go to Dubai, for example, today, and I want to establish a business, I have to have a guarantor or a partner there. It has to be national. And they take 50% or 60% of your company just because you are trading in their country. Then you have, after you find your partner, you have to go and try to recruit a local team. Why do we recruit a local team? Because they know the culture, they know the market, they know what people like, what they don't like, they know how to operate, they know how, if somebody we are relationship with go and there's British employees there, then we don't understand siesta, for example. Simple things. They will shock us. But there, they close as well, and they come back at 2 or 3, and they start again. Adapting the market and sales strategies to fit your chosen market. Obviously, when you sell to a market, you have to see what attracts them to your service and product, and then what attracts us here, maybe an advert on the TV. There may be free samples, or you do a group or product testing, or you go face to face, or you do favors. All that you have to consider before you actually. The style of marketing here is different to the style of marketing everywhere. So, for example, people in Germany do different things. People in China do different style, and they have different marketing costumes. The most important thing is breaking the language barrier. You have to market your product in the language that nation speaks, because if they don't read, they do not buy. If I am going to, especially when this is a big purchase, for example, you're selling insurance, and I'm buying insurance for life, and then I won't be signing that paper unless I know what the details are, and I know I want them in my language, because in law and basically in commercial law, a word could change a clause, so people may be aware of that. It's not like going buying that you can see the product. So big buying property details, changing contracts, and all that has to be in the local language. So that's very, very important. Your website, your product has to be in the local language. The competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is, what is it? It's when for example, you are a manufacturer in the UK, and you could manufacture 1 unit of textile, for example, a meter of textile, for the price of 4 books manufactured in China. And China can manufacture the 1 textile meter for the cost of 1.5 books. So basically, the manufacture of 1 textile unit in the UK is going to be 4 times the cost of it manufactured in China. So there's no point locating your business in the UK making textile. You're better off making books because the textile in China is cheaper. Considering all factors are the same, all criteria are the same. The consumer expansion and competition. For example, basically, if the product or services that you are selling is very much used there are a lot of people who are doing it, then you have to consider, am I going to have a big part or a big basically slice of the market or not? And why? What do I have to do to actually overcome all this competition? And maybe they are local, most of them, so they know better than us. Sometimes we are foreigners, we have advantage. Selica International operates in the Middle East, and before we opened the branch there, we approached some clients and they said to us, we do not want to work with you as an Egyptian company. We want you to be, if you say you are British, you have to register here as a British, which forced us to open a branch in Egypt, the same name, the same entity. We didn't do a different entity as the company because of the history and the name of the company, obviously. We don't want to go start zero there. So all these things that you have to consider when you are dealing with people. And the people side, the market psychology is very, very important. This is first, you understand your environment and your company, your product or service. However, when you are relocating or trying to trade abroad, selling your services or product abroad, you need to be helped through the steps of globalization. So the organizational behavior is what people do in their local market that they don't do anywhere else. For example, if you are a foreigner in a foreign country and you want to buy products, you buy it according to that market. So you walk in, for example, if I go to Germany or Italy and I go shopping, I have to basically see what is there and I buy it there. It's not when the product is coming to me, then I have that choice. I have this, I have comparison. So the organization behavior from one country to another is very, very important. You have to understand that. And understand by theory is not enough. Because knowing that people behave differently in China than people in the UK is not enough. You have to know how different they are and how is that going to affect your business and your services there. Localizing and globalizing your business. So if you are interested and you think we could help you, please photograph this, take a picture and contact us.